What I experienced in those haunted mountains still sends shivers down my spine. It was a weekend adventure with my friends, a chance to explore the rumored haunted spot just 50 kilometers from our college campus. Our gang had 3 boys and 3 girls: Mike, Sarah, Jasmine, Julie, John, and me. We were all very close friends. We wanted some leisure time. I suggested this place, but little did I know it would become a journey into darkness. I wanted to take Jasmine with me on my bike, but had no courage to ask her, so she got on Sarah's bike. As our group of 6 friends made our way up the winding mountain roads, excitement and nervous laughter filled the air. But as we approached the spot rumored to be haunted, an eerie silence descended upon us like a suffocating fog. The troubles began when Mike's and Sarah's bikes sputtered and died simultaneously, leaving us stranded in the shadow of the mountain. We laughed nervously, dismissing it as a mere coincidence. But when the bikes refused to start despite our efforts, a sense of unease settled over us like a heavy cloak. We tried to push the bikes to a nearby clearing, hoping to find some shelter from the encroaching darkness. But as we reached the spot rumored to be haunted, a sense of foreboding washed over me like a wave crashing against the shore. The area was very silent except for the occasional sounds of nocturnal birds and insects. The howling of an animal can be heard in the distance. I don't know whether it is a dog or a wolf. The girls with us started to panic, and this had some effect on us. Mike wanted to leave his bike here and take it tomorrow morning, but Sarah's case was different because she didn't inform her parents about this trip, so she wanted to bring her bike back home the night itself. John, who had some idea about bike repair, was trying hard to find the fault. The atmosphere was eerie, and I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end, a cold shiver running down my spine. It was as if the very air itself had turned against us, suffocating us with its oppressive weight. The atheist in me hid behind, and human instinct kicked in, and I began to pray to God from all religions, countries, classes, and social strata that I knew, including some tribal ones I read in storybooks. Not just for the fear of my life, but because I was the one who suggested this idea, and if something happens to the girls, then it will be my fault. Then Jasmine suddenly hugged me in fear. I had a crush on her, but the situation was not very good at the moment, so I couldn't enjoy it. We began to persuade Sarah, but she told us that she would never leave her bike here. She feared her father more than the ghost, so even though she was scared, she still insisted. And then, just as suddenly as it had started, the bikes roared back to life, their engines roaring to life with a deafening roar. We exchanged nervous glances but chalked it up to a strange coincidence, eager to put the ordeal behind us and continue our journey. But as we made our way back down the mountain, disaster struck. I lost sight of the others as I rounded a bend in the road, my heart pounding in my chest as I realized I was alone in the darkness. I tried to retrace my steps to find my way back to the safety of the group, but the forest seemed to stretch on endlessly in every direction. I stopped my bike and got down in the hope that I could hear the sound of my friend's bike. But there was no sound, only the calm, silent night. And then I heard it, the sound of footsteps echoing through the darkness, growing louder with each passing moment. Then, like a specter emerging from the mist, a man appeared before me. He had a sinister look about him, his eyes gleaming with an unsettling intensity. I hesitated, my instincts screaming at me to stay away. I knew this was a deep forest near the border of ours and the neighboring provinces, so there is no chance for a living being to be here without a vehicle. He asked me to come near him with a finger. Reluctantly, I obeyed, feeling the weight of his gaze like a physical presence on my back. Yet, despite his menacing aura, he calmly asked me where I was heading and why I was standing here. I told him that I was lost in a group, did not know the correct way, and wanted to go to the nearest city. Then he told me to go straight for 2 kilometers and then turn right and go another kilometer to reach the highway. I was relieved. I thanked him, asked him where he was heading, and offered him a lift. He looked at my face with an evil smile and said nothing. Overcoming my fear, I offered him a lift for the second time. He took out a cigarette, puffed it, and then looked at me and said, "Go away." Then, without turning back, he walked into the forest. I had no time to think about him, so I immediately got on my bike and went on the path as he instructed. After riding for 20 minutes, I finally entered the city, but it was not the place I wanted to go. It was some 30 kilometers away. But I was relieved. Now I can travel to my place through the highway. The next day, I recounted my harrowing experience to my friends. But they laughed it off, dismissing it as a figment of my imagination. The girls even mocked me for leaving them and going away alone in fear. Even though I insisted on my experience, they never believed it. Later, I understood why. Today was the 1st of April, and they thought it was me fooling them. After all, the area where I got lost was part of the dense forest, with no population for miles around, and no one would believe a person showed me the way out. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to that mysterious stranger than met the eye. I am very thankful to him, but his sinister presence still haunts my dreams, a reminder of the whispered shadows that lurk in the depths of the haunted mountains. Who was he? Why was he there on that deserted mountain? I still can't think of an answer.